back end section of the lean-to. Back end section of the lean-to consists of 6 major parts. First one is the base frame, which I'll bring into view for you, as you can see by the profile. The next piece we have is the house. This is a corner bracket actually that mounts the assembly to the house. You can see by the profile again. Next to that we have the glazing bars. In this case we're doing a 6-foot unit, so there is only 2. If this is an 8-foot unit there would be 3. And the glazing bar, there again is the preform. And you can see that there's an angle cut on one end to mount the pitch of the roof. Next we have the corner mounting bracket, which is a piece of 3/4 by 3/4 by 1/16 angle. It has one hole punched in at each end. And the final piece of this pack is the cross brace. The cross brace is a 1 inch by 1 inch angle, 1/8 of an inch thick, to run across the back section. In addition to those pieces, we also include the fan mounting brackets. There are 2, and we'll go into their assembly a little bit further down the road. Now before we can actually assemble a unit, we're going to need to open the back corner pack. The back corner pack consists of 2 pieces. The first one being the leg. The leg has one hole punched in it only and is angled at one end. The roof corner bracket, as you can see by the profile again, is the same. It has a T marked on the top end, which denotes the top of the roof, and it will mount to the wall mounting section. Now what we've done is we've taken the major components and we've laid them out on the floor as we're going to do the assembly. To start with, as a provisional, on the lower section, base section, I've gone ahead, I've pre-installed a T-bolt in each of the 4 positions along that section, Now we'll go ahead and we will connect each of the pieces to the sill plate. Okay, as for the wall sections, to put the unit together, actually just slot it straight into there using a box wrench. Just nip it up. Don't want to tighten it up too tight this time. We just want to nip all of the pieces up. Right, we've got now our back end section. We've got our leg and our roof section. I've gone ahead and installed the leg bracket, the same as what we used on the front. We've put our 2 bolts into the roof section, along with the 2 vertical bolts in the slots here for use later on the main assembly. We've installed the bolt holding our corner brace in position to the lower hole here. Now the next component we're going to introduce is going to be our cross brace. Our cross brace goes in across here. Notice the position again of orientation to keep it clear of the leg bracket, to hold it in position, and we'll lay that down and bolt it in. Now this is going to be put in all the way across, as you'll see through the video, but it's going to be more temporary. You're going to want it for when you're moving the unit around, it's safer. But when you come to do the installation inside the main frame assembly, you're better off to remove it. Take it out of the way, then you can mount these bolts into position correctly, then put it back in again afterwards. So we're going to put it in a temporary position here, like so, and that completes this corner bracket. Over to the small of the glazing bars. Now this one is going to require, to mount it, we're going to require to put 2 T-bolts on it. We're going to want 1 T-bolt, which is going to be used to mount our cross rail, and then the second T-bolt to mount it to the top roof. Lift up the top roof, and in place. And then we just have to drop that one off. Now when we put the bolt on this one, just put the nut on loosely. You don't want it on tight yet. We're going to do the other two glazing bars in a moment. When we do those, then we can finally tighten it up once we get the assembly on. But that is how we do our construction. Okay, we'll now move on to the next piece. Now to mount the wall corner brace to the roof frame, we use another bracket out of our pack. This is the second bracket we've got. Now to put these together, you'll see how they butt up. The roof will come right across and line up with the back edge of the wall mounting corner brace. And then the bracket will drop in. It will assemble using the 4 bolts, just the same that we did on the other end. Okay, we've gone ahead now and we've assembled this top bracket. You'll note that we've got the 4 bolts in position. We have the roof section leveled with the back edge of the wall section. And when we put the bolts in for this section, we add an additional 3 bolts. Now, the first bolt we're going to move down, and we'll use that to locate, to position our cross brace. The other 2 bolts are for our fan bracket mounting. So we'll move one approximately horizontal with the bar across there and one down here. And we'll just leave them loose for the moment. We'll come back to those shortly. Now on the longer glazing bar, the second one in from the small end, we've installed the 3 T-bolts. First T-bolt obviously is to locate it to the roof section, and before we put the nut on there, we're going to mount the first fan bracket. And to do that, the fan bracket wants to be orientated specifically in this direction, as you see. Goes down like that, we'll lock it on with a nut. Now it would be good here if you could use a square. If you haven't got a square available, then I would recommend that you use your tape measure. Measure from the edge of your bracket here to the base frame. Then come across onto this side, measure the same dimension and put your first of your T-bolts in at the top. Just nip it in place. It doesn't have to be precise. It's only a rough dimension at the moment. Once you install your glazing at final assembly, you will have the cutout for your fan. You'll put your fan through and then you can finally locate it. Now for the second fan bracket, the orientation is reverse to this one. It goes this way over. It will mount on the first bracket on this side, and then we've got 1 T-bolt that we need to push down for our cross brace, and then we need 1 T-bolt in here for the second bracket. And that gets mounted in position there, like so. Again, it doesn't matter on its position. I would suggest that you drop it down out of the way so that when you put your fan in, it will fit in a lot easier. And you can see, that's better. Move it down there. That means now that when we put the glazing in, the fan brackets aren't going to get in the way. And we put a nut on the other side, and we just nip that down too. Doesn't want to be tight, just put it on there for the assembly. At least you know your bracket's in place. And we'll just snug them 2 down. And while we're down here, we'll lift our bracket up and we'll mount our bolt on this leg for our cross brace, and we'll do the same with the one on that face. And we'll lock that in place. Right, now I've mounted the 2 bolts on both of the legs on the cross brace, on the glazing bar and on the corner frame. Now, to get these approximately square, and you can finish it off at your final assembly from the floor up, I would suggest you take a dimension from this face to the bottom and match it with the one on the other side. That will give you thing basically parallel across the back section. Okay, now you can see we've assembled the back section. It may not be completely square. We've got all of the bolts nipped up into place, and we're ready now to stand it up out of the way and move on to the front section.